Okay.
I was really
So
thought
there
that
we go.
we're
Now,
live earlier. Oh my
yeah,
god.
now we're online.
Yeah. I was really thought that we're on live, but yeah. Ricky, thank you for having here. So oh my god, I'm
Yeah,
so
I've done that before. I with my camera, I forgot to hit the record button, did my whole thing, and I had nothing. Yeah, so don't feel
I'm so
bad.
stupid, but it's okay. So again, hey, thank you for being here, and I'm glad that you allowed me to do the one-on-one interview with you.
Yeah.
So before I'm going to start asking you questions,
Hmm.
um, I just I'm curious. What is a big announcement? I watched some of your recent vlog, and it says there that you have a big announcement. Maybe you can share it here.
Yeah. I barely announced. I believe it was yesterday. Um, as many know, V and I, we've been dating. We first met. I believe it was September 7th. I actually keep track of three anniversaries. We met September 7th of 2019, and I was just on a visit to go see Geo. I was in Vietnam, and I had to do a visa run anyway. So I thought, I'll go hang out with Geo, out in Davao. And so we were just, goofing around. And then I was getting ready to leave. I was down to my last 2 days to go back to Vietnam. And then Facebook had created like a dating app thing. And
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was just sitting in the apartment after being in the pool, and I thought, I'll try this out. So I created a little quick profile. And I think I flipped on maybe 10 or so pictures, just kind of playing with it. And then I saw V's picture, and I was like, oh my gosh, I want to meet her. So I put like or whatever, swipe right, whatever it is they do. And later that day, meanwhile, she had run out of load, and she thought, oh, I'll get some load, I'll check my stuff. So that's how we first connected, was just by sheer randomness on a Facebook app. So we chatted that night. We didn't meet, we just chatted. But then I was going to leave 2 days later. So we met, and she said, well, I want to bring my mother. I was like, yeah, bring your mom, bring your aunt. I don't care. Bring anybody. Just, I want to meet you. So we met the next day, spent the whole day together, me, her, and her mom. And I still remember I was waiting for her. She didn't want to meet in a mall, and she didn't want to meet in a restaurant. She wanted to meet at the supermarket.
oh,
And in my mind, I was thinking, well, maybe she wants to meet and then have me go buy her groceries.
that's
You
really
know, I don't know. I don't know. But I thought, you know what? I really want to meet her. If I have to buy her a week's groceries, I'm going to meet this girl. So I said, yeah, okay. So we met at the supermarket. You know how they have little tables on the by the wall where you can eat like deep fried
yes, yes.
whatever. So we sat there, and I still remember I was waiting inside, and I barely saw that she was coming in through the window, but I didn't really see her. I just saw her pass by coming into the security thing. And then there was one of those columns in the way, big cement column. So I still remember in my mind, she came around that column, and as soon as I saw her, like I was like, I'm leaving Vietnam. I was happy in Vietnam, but I was like, I have to know who she is. And like within half hour, we were talking and chatting like we knew each other. And then I finally, it took me a while to convince her, well, let's go to the mall. It's a little nicer. And she's like, no, 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 we can just have what they call that quick, here. And so I finally convinced her and her mom to go to the mall. I believe we went to the Premier Mall in Lanai. And so getting back to the big announcement, that was January 7th, or no, September 7th, 2019. So skip forward, I go to see my mom who was having medical conditions, and we're in an LDR. We've already lived together for 14 months in Cebu. Um, so we got married. we got married online, and I'm very, I don't know if you want to say old fashioned, or maybe I'm just obsessive compulsive disorder, OCD. I like things to happen in sequence, and I like them to happen at the right time. That's just how I'm wired. And so what we agreed upon was we would get married online, legal marriage, everything. We got the marriage certificate, all that. But I said, let's not tell our friends, let's not tell everybody until I can get back in the Philippines and put a ring on your finger. I go, that'll like make it official. And I want to do that in person. And so it took a total of a year and 9 months for me to get out of California. I had a lot of medical issues to take care of. And so just this last 2 weeks ago, I landed in Mactan, got myself to Davao. I took her parents and her brother to the same restaurant that I had asked for the blessing of her parents back in January 10th. That's our other anniversary. January 10th is when I came to pick her up, 2020, after I came from Vietnam. So 2 weeks ago, we go back to the same restaurant, same people. We sat in the same chairs, same table, and we even got the same picture of us together. And after
Wow.
we had a nice big dinner and everything, and Pasabalong and all that, that was when I surprised her with the rings, and we put the rings
That's
on in front
sweet.
of her parents, and and they were very happy. So it was a commemorative moment. So even then, I barely announced, that we've been married all this time for 13 months. I barely announced it like yesterday. So, and I have to again say thank you to my closest friends. There were maybe 14 people that knew about this, major vloggers who could have done a big video about it. Paul
Yes.
News, Leo, Asia Unscripted, Vern's Travels, Young Paul. I mean, there was a lot of my friends are vloggers, and they all knew, my closest friends.
You really have a
Nobody
good
said,
circle of friends. Because they can just tell you or create another account just to spread that you
yeah,
are, but they don't do
yeah.
that.
And nobody said a peep. I mean, I have very good friends, and I have to really thank them for doing me a solid and keeping our secret until I could put the ring on her finger. And so now it's official. Now we've got everything: the certificate, we got the rings on, we're together physically. So that's the big announcement: is not only are we married, we've been married for 13 months.
Yeah, and congratulations. I wish you the
Thank
best.
you, thank
And hey,
you.
how's your mom? How's your mom doing?
She's doing much better. When I got there in 2000, I think it was 21. Let me see, because it was a year and 9 months ago. Yeah, it was 2021 in April, and that was crazy. It was like 5 weeks trying to get out of the Philippines because back then, COVID was a big issue. So anyway, so I got there, and she had a concussion. She fell backwards on the cement and hit her head pretty hard and knocked
Oh,
out, which is not good when you're 80 some years old. And then she had a gallbladder infection, and then she had fainted several times. So when I got there, a lot of it, I think, was mental. She really missed me. I'd been gone for like 9 years, other than Christmas.
wow.
And as soon as I showed up, she started perking up. She started eating again, getting her weight back. So within 3 months, she was back to normal. Back to
So are
normal,
you
doing
the
good.
only son
No,
of your
no, I have one other brother, and now he got married, and then so now him and his wife, they're there to take care of her. And also, I have an aunt right across the street. I have another aunt just 5 minutes away, and then our next door neighbor. They've been friends for 25 years. They knew I was coming back to the Philippines, so now everybody is kind of like there to support my mom and make sure she's okay and she's being visited, and And she's very active. She still hangs the laundry outside. She still drives into town every once in a while. She still does her grocery shopping, checks the mail, works in, waters the plants in the yard. We hired a landscaper because it's 2 acres. So the landscaper handles the big stuff and she just does the watering. So she keeps active. She keeps active.
Family is a mess, really, right?
Yeah.
So how's your health?
Yeah. My health is much better now. It was kind of a big wake up call. I just it's so easy, no matter where you're living, to not eat the right foods, not get enough walking every day. Now I'm walking every day, either by myself or V and I. Like the other day, we walked so far we got lost, but I had Google Maps, you know. So we go walking, eating right, walking. Now, like I told V, I eat healthy like 80, 90% of the time. Once in a while, I'll have a pizza or I'll have a hamburger or I'll have some fruit. But the rest of the time, I'm eating like 1.5 meals a day, and it's primarily meat and vegetables, or meat and vegetable soup. So it's made a huge difference. Huge difference. Of course, I don't smoke. I have maybe 2 drinks a year, and I've lost weight. I feel so much better. So much better. I really encourage expats, take care of your health. I know too many expats that they finally retire. They finally get to the Philippines. They even have a wonderful Filipina wife, and then they start having all these health problems because they smoke a lot, drink a lot, don't exercise, eat the wrong food. Now they're hardly even out around. They can't even walk 2 blocks without getting tired.
Yes.
And it's kind of a shame when it can be prevented with some changes in diet.
Yeah, not just only to the old people, like even me, I'm only 31 years old, but sometimes I have a hard time, like if I walk too far, sometimes I'm catching my breath. That's why I decided that, okay, it's time for to do exercise. And yeah, I just back to my exercise like 2 weeks
Mhm.
ago, and I feel better that I lose weight. And hey, you guys are in Davao and V is from Davao City. So if you want a healthy food, I can recommend you to go to Soul's Kitchen. They
Oh, okay.
offer food. So yeah,
Oh,
so are you
good.
aware that I came from Davao City?
Well, we're in Davao City right now. We just changed locations yesterday,
Yeah.
and we'll probably change location. Huh?
I am from Davao too. It's just like not in the city, but it's like 4 hours away from Davao City.
Oh,
So
okay.
since you're living in Davao City, how do you like Davao City?
I like it. I was just because a lot of people have asked me about it, especially this week. And what I tell them is Davao is like Cebu, but a slower pace because you still have big malls,
Yeah, there's a big
like we were just went to a Brisa the other day. And of course, our favorite is Premier Lanang because I know it well. That's where I met her parents, all that. Um, but so it's like Cebu, but like slower pace. You know, even when we went through traffic the other day, it wasn't anything like traffic in Cebu. Um, and again, you got all the malls now. Beaches, you better if you go to Samal. They got the nicer beaches there.
you should go to
Um,
Calicut Island.
hmm?
Have you been to Calicut Island?
No, we haven't been there. We have been to Samal. We spent the day at a resort in Samal before
I
we,
recommend
before I went to the States. Hmm?
I recommend that you guys should go to Calicut Island. It is an undeveloped island. And it's safe there.
Oh,
I know I had a friend there that it's a foreigner that who on beach resort.
uh-huh.
He's from Sweden and he is married a Filipina, woman. And he said it's pretty safe there. I actually been there like 3 times.
Yeah. Well,
So
send me later on. Send me a link, a Google map or whatever, because V very much has been wanting to go either back to Samal or just some nice clean beaches here in Davao. Because it's funny, we did a video for my membership area. We took a walk, our first walk in the neighborhood, And we went to one of the beaches that's, I guess it would be, I'm trying to figure out the map. I guess it would be maybe south of Premier, somewhere around there. And and so we walk over there, like, oh, we're going to take a nice romantic walk on the beach. And we got there, it was high tide, so there's only like 2 feet of beach, sand. And then it was like just trash. It was just bags and bottles and paper. And we were like, well, that's not me. That's not fun. So we just kind of turned around and took a walk somewhere else.
Yeah,
So
I
we want
guess
to
you
go
would
to,
love Calicut Island.
yeah, we'd want to go to Samal or any little island that has a nice beach.
Yeah, I'm gonna send you the name of the place. And the good thing there is you can go to the resort that it's so cheap. Like I guess if I remember it right, the cottage there it costs 600, and you guys can stay there for a day for 600
Oh
pesos.
yeah,
But you need to bring water and food. Well, they have a food, but it's good that you're gonna bring something so that if you don't like their
yeah,
food, at least have a food that you guys can have.
yeah. Yeah, just grab a lechon manok, some water and rice, and you're good.
So since we're talking about the food, so
Mhm.
a lot of expat been complaining the food here in Philippines. How do you like the food here?
Well, it is what you make of it because I'm very open-minded. I used to go to now I grew up in a sort of an American version of Latin culture, but when I would go to Mexico, that was real Mexico, and I went there a lot. And I got used to eating the street food, just like you have street food in Philippines. They have, their street tacos and all that stuff. So I got used to being open minded. So when I came to Philippines, um, there's like restaurant food and then there's street food. Some of it I like, some I don't. Like for instance, I love sinigang, pork sinigang soup. That is like probably my favorite Filipino dish, pork sinigang soup. I like adobo chicken, of course. Of course, I like lumpia. I'm trying to not eat so many carbs, but I like lumpia, especially with the sweet sauce. Now, out on the street, I went to a cayendera, which I found about maybe, I don't know, 8 blocks from here. And it was one of the bigger, better ones. And they had, what did they call it? Bula bula or bola bola?
Yeah, yeah, bula bula. You
Bola
like bula
bola?
bula?
Yeah, I love those. I even used them one time. I made spaghetti and sauce, garlic style, not sweet style. And then I got like 3 bula bulas and put them in there with the sauce. Yeah.
That's gonna be better.
Um,
You wouldn't like the Filipino spaghetti. They are sweet. We put
oh yeah,
condensed sauce.
I know. I know. I always tell my friends who have not been here, I said, Filipino spaghetti, just think of it like a hot dessert. It's more like a food and a dessert, but it's hot. Like a hot fudge sundae, but it's hot, you know. Um, and I said, don't be surprised if you see chopped up, wieners in there, mixed in, the hot dogs. Uh, so there's a lot of Filipino food I like. I like pancit, but again, I'm trying to cut back on carbs, so I don't eat pancit too much. We just went to hot pot shabu shabu, which is actually Japanese.
Yeah.
Although they did have a Szechuan sauce, which is technically Chinese, but the whole process they do it in Vietnam. That's where I first heard about hot pot was Vietnam. But we went to a shabu shabu the other day, and we had fun with it. We like our favorite franchise restaurant is actually Kubla Khan because and Vietnamese food because Kubla Khan you pick all the vegetables you like and then they stir fry it, and it's real healthy, real good. Just got to be careful with all the sauces you put. But there's a lot of Filipino foods I like. There's some that I don't because like I never liked liver, so I don't like anything with liver. you know.
Just in case that you're gonna miss a Western food, I can recommend you since you are just living around SM Lana. tried to go to Swiss Delay just recently, like 2 weeks ago. I went to Swiss Delay, and their beef or pork back ribs, it's the best. The chef there,
Oh,
it's a Swiss guy, and the
uh-huh.
price is affordable. You should bring V there to have,
Yeah.
to have. I
Yeah, send
really
me a
are.
link and we'll make time for it. Yeah. Sounds good.
Yes. So I heard that you just come back here in Philippines. So any changes that you notice, since you've been away for 2 years?
Well, when I left, I remember I did a video right there at Ayala Mall Business Center, the big intersection, which normally is filled with jeepneys and cars. I went out there at like 2 p.m. and it was like that movie I Am Legend. I showed the video in every direction. There was not one car, not one person anywhere on the street. It was like I was the only person in the city, until I got into the mall. But big difference. I mean, all the restrictions, we don't have any more zone one, two, three, and level this, level that, and face mask here and face shield there, and plastic shield between the motorcycles. All that's gone. So that's the biggest change. Is the restrictions are gone. It's much easier to get around.
Mhm.
Before even taking a taxi, we got pulled over at a checkpoint because we had a mask on, but we didn't have a face shield. You know. Fortunately, I just let V do all the talking, and they said, "Okay, you can go. You can go." Um, so I would say the biggest change is the drop in the requirements, with all that. Now, I talk with foreigners all the time, every day. Every day, I'm talking to expat friends of mine and people that contact me from viewers. Now, the single guys are telling me, and maybe you can put some input on this. The single guys are telling me that it's different now than it was 3 years ago. 3 years ago, a foreigner could get off the plane, go to the mall, just about any city. As he's walking, the Filipinas walking by, the single Filipinas, they'll like smile and give him the look, and and he felt a lot of attention, good attention. And if he would go to a girl and just ask her for her number, they could go out. Very easy peasy, everybody happy. But now the single guys are telling me, and this is not just in Dumaguete, it's Cebu, Davao, different places. They're telling me, well, now the girls don't even look. They just walk by like you're not even there. Um,
Really?
and yeah, and they find that like when they, like, I've never been into dating sites, any relationship, but the guys say that they go on the dating sites like, Filipina Cupid and Date Asia, whatever. And now the girls, when it used to be the conversation was, they would ask the foreigner, well, what country are you from? Are you coming to Philippines? Do you have girlfriend? Do you have asawa? Whatever. Now, the question the girls are asking is, do you have Gcash? Yeah, yeah.
Really?
And so if you don't have Gcash, they're like, okay, bye bye. And it's like, so things have changed in the single realm, which I've been out of the single dating for 3 years now because I've been with V. So I'm getting all this input from different single men that I talk to. Some of them are new, some of them have been here for 4 or 5 years. So I'm getting this from different guys. So definitely something has changed. Now, what I tell them though is, if you're just here for the variety, different girl every 2 days, whatever, you're going to find that. That's easy to find. I go, now, if you're looking for a good woman relationship, I
That's
said,
hard.
stay off the dating sites, go into the malls, go into the, wherever, go to the bakery, go to anywhere there's a Filipina doing her normal day, could be at the grocery store, you know?
Yeah.
and start just a conversation. Don't walk up and say, "Hey, can I get your number? You want to go on a date?" Don't do that,
Yes.
you
That's
know.
gonna be
And
offensive to
don't,
Filipina.
yeah, and
For
then
my
don't, yeah, and I tell them also, don't walk up to a Filipina and say, "Oh my God, you're so beautiful. Will you go out with me?" No, don't do that neither. Don't do that. She's heard that a million times, you know. Don't do
yes,
that. So what I tell
that's
them
bull-
is start a conversation as if she was not a pretty Filipina. Just start a conversation. You know,
that's a good
like I
advice.
remember, like one time I went into a grocery store in Bohol. This was years ago, and I saw this girl working at the grocery store. She was pretty, and I wanted to talk to her. So I went up and I said, "Do you know where the spaghetti sauce is?" She dropped what she was doing. She goes, "Oh, let me show you, sir." And as we're walking, she's like, "Are you new to the to Bohol? Have you been in Phil?" I mean, she just started talking, and I just started talking. We're just having a conversation. And later went out with her and stuff, but the conversation was not about me and her like dating. It was about, like where are you from, and what do you do, and 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 so when by the time we got to the spaghetti sauce, she did this thing. A lot of Filipinos in grocery stores do this, or department stores, kind of like the models on the beauty contest. When we got to the spaghetti sauce, she goes, "Here it is, sir." you know, and I just thought that was cute. Um, so then it was a conversation. It wasn't, "I'm trying to impress you," or "I'm trying to flatter you." It was just a conversation. So that by the time we got to the spaghetti sauce, I said, "Well, I would like to talk to you more, but I don't want to get you in trouble at work. Can you give me your text number? I'll text you. You get off what, 9 o'clock? Everybody gets off at 9 o'clock." I said, "I will text you at 9 p.m." And so she gave me her number, and that was it. See, and see, that's what I call organic. It's a natural introduction to people that want to know more about each other, not flattery, not bula bula.
Yeah, that's a good tip. You know what? Because here, Filipina, for me, okay, I wouldn't just talk in general, but based on my experience, based on what I want. If someone like when last time when I was in the Magati, someone asked me like, "Can I have your numbers?" I was in grocery buying. Can I have your numbers? You know,
Yeah.
I get scared, I wouldn't
Yeah.
accept that. But if someone will just come over, if I'm gonna have a coffee and they just come over and just talk a normal, not say you're so pretty. If someone were gonna say like you're so pretty, I want to date you, I want to, that's gonna scare me. I'm gonna back out. I said, no, this guy is creepy.
Yeah.
That if you're just gonna start a conversations, make the person comfortable, that's a good start. That's a good start, that's a good move. Just don't
Yeah.
ask number, hey, you're so pretty, I wanna, can I hang out with you or something.
Yeah.
The girl, you cannot have that girl, the girl will gonna be scared. You really
Yeah.
give a good tip, to a single guy that who want to get that girl. But
Yeah.
anyway,
Because
if the girl asks that, do you have a Gcash? The single guy should say that, no, I have a Wise.
yeah, there you go. Yeah. My girlfriend has Gcash. You want hers? Yeah.
That's crazy.
Well,
Hey, and
yeah. Oh, I was going to say the reason a conversation is the proper way to introduce yourself to anybody, man or woman, is because one thing that men and women have in common: none of us want to be wanted for what we have. We want to be wanted for who we are.
yes,
Now,
correct.
men already know that if a woman approaches them and the first thing she notices is, "Oh, is that your car? Is that your really nice car?" Or says, "Hey, do you make a lot of money?" Okay, every man is going to be turned off because she doesn't want me for me. She wants the stuff that I own. And
Yes,
women are the same way. It's just that a woman doesn't want to be desired for how she looks. She wants to be desired for who she is. Because we all know we all get older. We're not as guapa as we're gonna be, say in 40 years. Everybody
Yeah.
knows we get older, so we want to know we're with somebody that loves us for who we are, not for the beauty we have, not for the money we have. And see, that's why engaging in a conversation, you're communicating to this person, I'm interested in you, not just what I see on the outside, man or women. I'm not interested in your money. I'm not interested in what you look like. I want to get to know you. And when I talked to V that first day, I told her, I am going to leave. I have to go back to Vietnam. I said, but I am going to leave Vietnam. I'm going to come back here. That's my promise. I will come back here for you so we can get to know each other. And when we sat down in that restaurant on January 10th, 2020, that's what I told her parents. I said, I've only known her one day, but we've been chatting when I was in Vietnam. But I said, I want your blessing that we can be together for 1 year to know each other, to get to know each other. And I told them flat out that day, I said, if if she is the way I think she is, I will marry her. I put it all out on the line. I said, I need to know her 1 year first. So they talked and everything. And then finally they said, it's okay. You have our blessing. And that's when V and I started our 1 year, actually 14 months together, and now we're married.
Yes. So she's the reason why you are back here in Philippines.
Hmm?
So
What's
she's
that?
the reason why you are back here in Philippines.
Yeah. Yeah. Because if people remember my videos from Vietnam, before I met V, I was so content with my life. I finally had reached a point I had never reached in my life. I didn't care if I was in a relationship. I didn't care if I ever got married again. I was happy. I was happy waking up every day. I had my friends at that time, Gio, Jason, David, Eric, quite a few of my friends were in Vietnam. We're having a great time. We're going out to dinner, we're exploring, we're checking out different cities in Vietnam and beaches, and I did date there for a while, but it was like I was happy. I wasn't looking for a relationship. I truly was just content with myself. So when I met V, as much as I loved my life in Vietnam, it impacted me so much. I told her, I promise, I will be back. I will be back no later than March. And I made it back by January 10th. You know, I, I, I was willing. She's the reason I came back to the Philippines. Otherwise, I'd probably still be in Vietnam right now.
Yes. So how do you like Philippines? Beside the reason that you found love here.
Well, I came in 2012. I began planning my trip in 2011. I arrived, what was it, July 11th? July 11th or 12th, in Mactan. That was my first day in the Philippines. And to be here, I didn't know anything back then. I mean, anything. I mean, guys today know much more about the Philippines when they come because there's so many bloggers out. There was hardly anybody with any information back in 2011. So this is how little I knew about the Philippines. I thought it was like Hawaii, that they only had maybe 7 islands. That's how little I knew. I thought that there was no malls in the Philippines. I thought it was just a jungle with a landing strip for the plane, and then there you go. I didn't know anything. Yeah, I literally knew nothing about the Philippines. I learned it when I got here, you know, and I was surprised. I like, there's a mall there, and they have food. I don't have to go in the jungle and find bananas and mangoes. I can just go to the store. I was, and then they had a disco. I was like, oh, this is fun. I mean, I was surprised. I didn't know anything, nothing. And so as I
Wow.
started learning, I started sharing what I learned in the videos. And pretty soon people were like, well, how do you get a visa? And how much does it cost to fly there? And what are the requirements? And next thing you knew, I had a video channel. I didn't even plan on having a YouTube channel, but that's how it started.
Okay, so that's how you started. Oh, it's good to know how you
Yeah.
started. What are
Yeah.
some
I
things that
didn't,
you like here?
I didn't come here
Excuse
planning to have a video channel. I that was the last thing on my mind. It just happened.
me. Yeah. So what are some things that you like here the most in the Philippines?
Oh, Guy, quite a few things. Believe it or not, the weather. I love the humidity. I like it. Now,
Really?
my first 3 months, I hated it because I was much heavier. I weighed 200. I was already pushing 245 pounds. I mean, I don't know what that is in kilos, but it's a lot. It's about 115, 20 kilos. I mean, it's pretty big.
Wow.
So
Yeah,
when
it's
I
big.
got here, I had big round face, really big. You can see it in my first videos. I'm fat, you know. And so I got to the Philippines. I was literally changing my shirt 3 times a day. I was sweating like a cocaine addict or something. I was hot, hated it, but I started walking everywhere and I fell in love with the lechon manok, the chicken, the rotisserie chicken.
Yeah.
So every day I would walk from Basak either to another part of Basak, or I would walk all the way to the pier, which is pretty far. I would walk there in the middle of the day because I don't know no better. I'm walking out in the middle of the day to where the sabong was and the church and the pier so that I could have, chicken and I could get watermelon and whatever. And I started losing weight. And after 3 months, I lost half. I lost about 25 pounds, about 14 kilos. And within 6 months, I was down to almost 190. I mean, I lost just about 50 pounds, about 25 kilos in 6 months from walking and eating a whole lot of rotisserie chicken. I never got tired of it. And then I would go to the mall and I would get the little pre packets of vegetables and I would make stir fry, and eat that. So the humidity is one of the things I love. In fact, when I got here recently, I was waiting for the moment I knew would come. I'm in the plane in California, I'm in the plane over in Doha, I'm in the plane. Finally I get to Mactan. They pop open the door, you go through, you get out of the plane, and then it hits you, the humidity. And to me, it feels like somebody's giving me a big hug. It feels
Uh,
so warm and so good, you know. I know people don't like the humidity. I like it. I like the humidity. That's one of my favorite things here.
yeah,
The
even
other thing, yeah, yeah.
even as a
And
Filipino,
then the other thing, yeah. Well, the other thing I like about Philippines is like recently I've been going on walks and V and I will be walking. And the other night, I went to one of the sari sari stores because I just wanted some chicharrones and some peanuts, snacks. And so when I got there, there was two older Filipinas, probably 65 years old. Uh, so as I'm buying my chicharrones, they go, "Oh, where's your girlfriend?" And I go, "Oh, no, no, she's asawa, bana." And and then we started talking and they were asking me questions and it was just so nice to have that kind of friendly conversation just buying some chicharrones because when you go in California it's like, is that all you want? Yeah, okay, 587, give me the money next. That's it. There is no conversation. It's just give me the
yeah,
money, here's your things, go move, next one in line. So the conversations, the friendliness of people here, that's another thing I really like.
yeah.
Um, just the casualness. My parents, especially my mom, raised us that she grew up very poor, and she was raised and she told us being poor is no excuse to not have manners. I heard her say that probably a million times. And she said, there's no excuse for you to not have what they call in Spanish educación. Be courteous, be friendly, have manners, show respect. You don't have to be rich to do that, you
Yeah.
know? So when I came here, that was one of the first things I noticed. People people start out courteous. Now, if you want to be rude with them, they'll get rude. But they
Yes.
start out, if you're courteous to them, they'll be courteous to you. If you have a
Yes.
problem like, hey, my internet's not working, as long as you stay calm, be respectful, you might get a resolution. But too many
Yes.
foreigners come in and they think, well, the squeaky wheel gets the oil. I'm here to demand, you need to fix this, and I'm a paying customer. Okay, you're not going to last long in the Philippines. In fact,
Yes.
you'll probably get
Correct.
the internet shut off.
Filipino will gonna stab you if you're gonna do
Yeah,
that.
yeah. So one of my favorite things about the Philippines is I feel like I'm in a country that appreciates courtesy, which was very important in our family. My mom, when I was there, it's normal for us. When we're sitting down having coffee, I always serve my mom coffee first, and I make sure she has the sugar, the cream, everything. I go, do you need a napkin, whatever? And, and then if ever, like say she's preparing dinner, she says, are you ready for dinner? I say, yeah, yeah. And she goes, would you like some chicken? Do you want rice? Whatever, because she knows I'm trying to fix my diet. And I always tell her, yes, please, yes, please. And then when she brings my plate, it's always, okay, thank you. You always show appreciation to the person that took the time to cook you a meal. You know, when we would go to restaurants, this has been going on my whole life. We sit, we talk, we eat at the restaurant. And when we're getting ready to go, we stack the plates so it's easy
Mm.
for the bus boy to take them away. We wipe down the table. And some foreigners have said, they get paid to do this. What are you doing? I was like, no, you don't understand. My grandmother told my parents, and my parents told me, when you leave a restaurant, that table, it needs to be organized and clean. You don't want to leave a mess. Do you want these people to say, were they raised by animals or what? No, you don't leave a mess. You organize the dirty plates, you wipe down the table, you show respect, even if it's just to the busboy, or the waitress, you know. So I like that the Philippines is a very courteous oriented country.
So do you feel safe here in Philippines?
Oh yeah, yeah.
And by
Like
the way,
like I said, yeah, I walk around at night here in the neighborhood, and we again, I'm a very analytical, maybe even control freak kind of person. Um, I have reasons for everything I do. I mean, I don't walk across the room unless I have a good reason. So when I came back and I wanted to maintain the secret with V, so we could be together and pretty much have our honeymoon. I was like,
yeah,
I'm not going to a condo. I'm not going to go to a condo in Davao like I used to, where they got the swimming pool and all those nice things, because we're going to keep running into foreigners, And I was like, I want to be like, we ended up renting an apartment here that's like in a regular Filipino neighborhood, and it's a nice apartment. We got kitchen, we got everything we need, but we're not like, there's probably not an expat living around here for 10 blocks around us, you know. We're not where the expats hang out. And this way we're able to have pretty much our honeymoon time just to ourselves, you know.
yeah,
So the neighborhood we walk in, I go at night. There's no sketchy characters, there's no dangerous characters. I mean, now I have walked in the streets of Cologne and downtown Cebu at night, and it was not a good idea. There's a lot of shabu heads out there. It's like walking in a zombie movie. I mean, really, it's like, even I was like, this is a bad idea. I mean, it's like there's one over there's one over there, because I'm always watching around me, being
Yes.
circumspect. And I'm like, they're watching me, I can tell. I mean, and they look like zombies. They really look like zombies from a movie. Their eyes are all dark, they're all skinny and and dirty. And it's like being in a zombie movie. You don't want to go to Cologne out by Evermall after 10 p.m.
Yeah.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
I've been there, and even vlogging there are not safe. So I'm still Davao City is really safe. Like,
Yeah,
you can go out in the middle of the night and you're safe using your expensive phone. You're gonna vlog and you're safe. No one will gonna
yeah.
stab you. No one will gonna snatch you. So Davao is very safe. But hey, I just wanted to salute your your mother, how she raised you guys. That's the one I plan to say before I ask you another questions. So my other
Hmm.
questions, do you want continue vlogging?
Well, I've been on the fence about it. I don't know how much longer I will vlog. Uh, because see, when I came here, I didn't plan on vlogging in the first place. And I just started doing videos for my kids to let them know I'm okay. And then next thing I
Yeah.
knew, people are asking me about visas and this and that, and I was learning new things. I wanted to share it. So next thing you know, I had a vlog in 2013. Now, when I was doing it, just by sheer accident, there was like two other vloggers there, but they had maybe 10 videos and they were pretty boring and no information. Just walking around the barangay and then turn off the camera. Didn't teach anybody anything. So when I started doing everything, analyzing the culture, analyzing the dating scene, informing people of the steps for immigration and all that, next thing you know, I was the only big channel for like 6 years. I was the only big channel. And it wasn't until people that watched my channel came to the Philippines and started their own channel. Guys like Mike
Mm-mm.
Kaysen and Ned Kelly and a lot of other, then for later it was like Gio and Paul. And in fact, I met Paul like his first or second day there when he came to do Maggette, Paul Old Dog. We've been friends for years. Um, so what's happened is over the years, of course, now viewers have many more choices for vloggers, you know, so many. I mean, not just the foreigners, a lot of like you, Filipinas have their
Yeah.
channel. And you can give your perspective as a Filipina on many topics that we can't. So for years, when I thought about quitting, because it is, as you know, it's a lot of work. It becomes a part of your life.
Yes.
Um, I felt a responsibility. It was like, I filled this need. I'm giving information. I really shouldn't quit, but I kept with it. And then now I feel like I paved the way for foreigners to become vloggers. I showed sort of a standard. Here's how you do it. Try to give some quality and give some information. So now I feel like with all the vloggers we have now, many of them are good friends of mine. It's like now I can step back and just kind of go back to a normal life. You know, Instead of being Reekay the vlogger in the Philippines, I just want to be Reekay V's husband, living in the Philippines, just living my life. You know. Now, to your question, how long will I keep vlogging? I don't know. I kind of think I'll probably quit within 2 years. Maybe even a year. I don't know. I right now I want to share the experience. What I've been sharing from 2013 till now is what it's like to be a foreigner dating in the Philippines. That's what I've been sharing. Now, maybe for the next year or two, I want to share what it's like to be married to a Filipina living in the Philippines, because that's a vision that foreigners who have not come here yet, I think they would like to see what does that look like? What is it like to actually move to the Philippines and marry a Filipina in her country, knowing that, like me, I'm going to be here the rest of my life. This is my home. That was my plan since 2012. I I love America. I'm an American. My allegiance is there, but I want to live in the Philippines the rest of my life, you know? So I don't know. Maybe I'll do it for another year or two, but I don't feel the pressure that I have to be a vlogger because now my friends are vlogging, many Filipinas are vlogging. Uh, I don't feel pressure that I have to.
Yeah, sometimes, as a vlogger, like I am a small vlogger, you're too big. But sometimes, I feel like, okay, I get tired and I feel like, okay, should I need to quit? But because how good the viewer is, I had a loyal subscribers that flip me out every time that I feel down, I can't just quit. Like vlogging, it's part of me already.
Yeah,
I can't see
yeah.
myself like, stopping. So yeah, but sometimes, as a vlogger, I understand you that sometimes you're gonna feel tired, just that
Yeah.
yeah, our life
Well,
now.
you bring up a good point. What really kept me going is my longtime subscribers, my longtime
Yes,
viewers. You know,
yes,
because I get the comments and I get my PMs through Facebook, and they tell me because of you, you changed my life. I never thought about living in the Philippines. Now I'm here. I'm having my second baby. I'm married with my wife. I met my wife on your channel. I met her on your website. It's like, because I have a Facebook group for singles that, because I would get all these Filipinas contacting me and I would say, I'm taken. Why don't you go to the group and look for a boyfriend there? So I did that. So I, that's what it is. It's the long-term viewers that have stuck with me all these years. That's what makes me want to continue vlogging is that they're
yes,
so appreciative, they're
yeah, they are.
thankful, like, and I don't want to let them down because I did an email. I have a small like messenger group that's just blogger friends of mine, and it's just a chance for us to communicate. And I told them about a year ago. I said, you know what? You guys take the torch. You guys keep the vlogging thing going. I said, because I'm on my way out. I am not going to try to grow my channel. I mean, I do all the usual things, but I don't care if I'm not trying to grow my channel. I'm just doing it for the longtime viewers, maybe some of the new people coming in, but it's like driving a car. It's like when you're starting out as a vlogger, you're pushing down on the accelerator. You want to go as fast as possible and grow the channel. Well, I'm done with that. I've taken my foot off the accelerator. I'm just going to coast. I'm just going to coast. I'm going to do it for my long-term viewers, help people where I can. And when the right time comes, I just want to slip away and leave the videos up there so they can help people and just, like I said, just be a husband in the Philippines. Just enjoy my life with my wife, just like everybody else gets to do, you know?
Yes. Without my regular, for sure, I already quit for a long time. But because I owe them a lot, I need to continue doing it.
Yeah.
And I love doing vlog. I love being in the camera and yeah. So yeah, before I'm going to end this live, I just want to
Mhm.
ask some advice. I mean, any advice that you can give to every foreigner that new here and you can give to the foreigner that who is new and want to come here in Philippines.
Yeah, I'll give the most valuable advice of all the things I've ever shared, which I think every new foreigner, if they don't do anything else, at least do this. Move slowly, be patient. Do not rush in the Philippines. Too many guys have not dated in 10 years. They come to the Philippines. The first Filipina that smiles at them, they get married, or they make a baby, you know, and and then after they've been here 3 months, 6 months, they start looking around and they go, well, I could have dated that Filipina. I could have married that Filipina. And they're already got commitments with the first one they met at the airport or whatever. I've always said your first year, don't loan out big amounts of money. Don't get married. Don't start a business. Don't make any commitments your first year. Give yourself a year to learn how the Philippines works. Because after you've done that, then you can start realizing the difference between a Filipina who has a very good heart, would make a good wife, versus the Filipina who knows how to twerk and dance. You know, now some Filipinos can do both, but you don't want to go chasing bar girls if you're looking for a wife. You know.
So how to find a good wife? How can you tell that okay, this girl is gonna be like a good wife? People, woman can know how to deceive people, to deceive a guy. So how to know? Any tips for that?
Well, it's I do. I can tell you exactly how to do it. The problem is not every guy has this one thing that would keep them out of trouble. Self-control. Self-control. Too many guys, again, they see a pretty girl in a pretty Filipina in a short skirt, and they go chasing after her like a wild animal. You know, you that's where all the guys that say, "Hey, can you help me get out of this problem?" I talk to them confidentially, and I help them out of their problem. The problem started because they didn't think; they just went running at what they wanted. You have to have self-control. The second thing you have to have as a man is not only self control, you have to have discernment. It's easier to teach self control, hard as that is, than it is to teach discernment. Discernment is knowing good from bad, quality from no quality, character, no character. It's almost impossible to teach that to somebody. You have to understand people. You have to understand men, women, people. You have to understand what they do and why they do it. And I've been spending my whole life studying people. So when I meet a Filipina, um, I've gotten pretty good, sometimes even before talking to them. Just seeing them from a distance, I know she's trouble. I will never trust her. That one over there, that is worth investigating. That could be a wife material. And I mean, even now, V and I will go for our walks or we'll be at the mall. And as we're walking around, of course, there's Filipinas everywhere. And in my mind, I still look and I go, wouldn't trust her, wouldn't trust her. Okay, that one I would introduce to my friend. That one is responsible. That one has probably never been in a nightclub or disco. I mean, I see on any trip to the mall probably 10, 15 different Filipinas that are good women that would make a great girlfriend or wife for some guy. You know, I can tell the difference, but guys that have just come here who haven't dated in 5, 10 years and they're just hungry as a wolf, they don't have self-control, they're not patient, and they don't have discernment. And that's where the problems start. But for the guys that can pace themselves, be selective, observe, talk to the right Filipina, move at a good pace, you can not only win her heart, she will not only be loyal and faithful to you, you will have somebody that you want to take care of. You want to love her. You know she's a good woman. And see, I hear too many horror stories and they always start with the guy who was rushing. I'm not kidding. You've probably seen it yourself. So many Filipinas, they meet a foreigner, and on the second date, he's like, move into my apartment. He doesn't know
So
who he is. She's a total stranger. She could be a Shabu addict for all he knows.
yes.
And here he is moving, in my whole, what is it, since 2012, I've only had two Filipinas move in with me. And the first one, it was because I was considering to marry her. And I had her move in with me. And then it turned out within 5 months, she wasn't exactly who I thought she was. And so I broke up with her. But V is the second one. And so I don't understand these guys who, like, oh, yeah, we met 2 days ago and, it's been fun and games. So I'm going to move her in. And then they're calling me 6 months later. Oh my gosh, she's crazy. How do I get her out? you know,
When the Filipina is really crazy, it's really crazy.
well, a lot of guys that they ask me, what's it like dating Filipinas in the Philippines? And you know what I tell them? And it took me years to figure this out. I tell them the good ones are really good and the bad ones are really bad. There's no in between. They're either good-hearted, great women, or they will destroy you.
It's true. Yeah, you're right. So, what
Mhm.
is your assumption about me? Just to this
You?
1 hour conversation. It's gonna be good. My viewers are gonna love to know.
Yeah, yeah. Now, see, I would recommend you to my buddies. I would, seriously. You know? And here's why. Here's why. For one,
Okay.
for one, think about it, even in a biblical sense, from way back, Adam. Why did God even create a woman? He needed a companion. It wasn't enough to hang around with the zebras and the dogs and the cats, and he needed a companion. And see, you're a very joyful person. You're a conversational person. And that's what really, I know men keep thinking, oh, it's, I want the sex, I want the sex. But really, what men of character deeply want is a great companion to go through life with. Like V, she's very much like you. She's joyful, positive minded. She likes being a good companion. If I'm feeling tired, I want to take a nap, we take a nap together. If I want to go and run amok in the mall, because I like mall ratting, that's what we call it, running around the mall, just exercise and shopping, eating, then off we go. She's a good companion, at all times, and you seem like somebody that a lot of guys, especially with a lot of energy. I think you went to the gym. I saw your picture on Facebook the other day.
Yeah.
Guys that are very active and want to stay at the gym, they would be lucky to have a gal like you that, like, if they say, I want to go to the gym, like, you'll go with them, you'll go exercise with them. You want to eat healthy, you help them to eat healthy.
Yeah, it
So those are
just
some of the, yeah, you know,
I'm game. I'm
yeah,
game to everything.
yeah, So now, see, just to kind of wrap up, when I first turned 18, I turned down college. My parents had already bought me a house near the university. I'd already enrolled. And what happened is they've done all this before I even graduated high school. And they said, whatever you want to do in college, we will pay for it. I've always been a very good student. And so I was all set to go to university in September after I graduated high school. And after I graduated high school, I ended up reading the Bible twice during the summer. And I was not a religious person. We were not even raised in the church or nothing. I mean, nobody in my family knew anything. In fact, I remember asking my dad as a kid, where did God come from? He told me Moses. He didn't know. And so I found myself questioning. I thought, okay, I can go to college. I wanted to become either an attorney or a doctor or a psychologist. And I thought, I can do that. Money's not a problem. Grades are not a problem. I could do that, go through my life, make a lot of money, but then what? You know? So what I did was I went camping by myself for a week up in Yosemite. Yosemite is like a famous park. It's huge. And I just took a backpack. I slept out on the ground for 7 days, out in the forest by myself. thinking to myself, what am I going to do with my life? Is college really the answer for me? Could I do something more? Well, I knew these people that they ran basically like a kind of, I guess you could call it a seminary, but it was like a big ranch. It was like a big facility. And they were training people to become like church leaders, pastors, missionaries. And I knew them for like 2 years, and I knew the work they were doing. They helped the homeless, they would move them in, they had dorms, and the homeless would live there. They would give them a job, they worked with them, they ate with them, they taught them classes about the Bible and all this stuff. And I thought to myself, when I die, I want to know that I helped people. I don't want to just make a lot of money. It would be nice for me, but who did I help? So I came back from that camping trip and I told my parents, I'm not going to go to university. I'm going to study for 4 years to become a pastor. It was like telling her I decided to become a drug dealer. My mom had a nervous breakdown. I mean, she literally collapsed to the ground. I mean, she took it hard because
Wow.
all my
There's
life growing up, they figured, oh, he's going to be a doctor, he's going to be an attorney, and here I was throwing it all away to train to be seminary. And so that's what I did. That September, I walked in with like one little bag of clothes, and I moved in with the homeless. At first, I had to start out at the bottom, and I worked with them. And within 8 months, they realized I had an ability to learn like really fast. And so they said, well, we want you to be a teacher. So I started teaching. I was teaching the Bible twice a day, and I was studying way beyond faster than anyone else was. So then after a year, they put me in charge of one of the businesses. And my job was to take these people who had been from Hollywood. I mean, we're talking male prostitutes, female prostitutes, drug addicts, uh, felons from prison, and I was taking these people to work all day and then get them back home, a night shift. And I was responsible to make sure they ate every day, make sure they did their laundry, teach them the Bible, do all this stuff. And I did that for 4 years. And by the end of that 4 years, the last year, I was one of the three people. There was the pastor, the main pastor, and me running everything. I was anything that happened on that property, they came to me. And so then there was a big falling out. The church ended up imploding because there was some corruption with the main pastor. I won't get into all that. But I left. Now, during those 4 years, this comes back to discernment. I learned more about human nature dealing with desperate people day after day. Hundreds of people in 4 years that shared with me their pains, their struggles, their fears, their anger. I had two people that believed they were possessed by the devil. The police had to come and take them away because they were running around with a kitchen knife to kill people. That's how intense. That's the kind of people I dealt with. And so by the time 30 years later I went to the Philippines, I had a pretty good understanding of why people do what they do. How do you tell the difference between a person of character and a person who is selfish? I have a very good understanding of that. Like I said, I can look at women in the mall, pretty much nail. This one I will not trust. That one I would trust. That one's a good woman. So most guys don't have that background, but it's the thing they're going to need if they're going to survive in the Philippines. Otherwise, they're relying on blind luck. Hopefully, they meet a good Filipina, they appreciate her, and they they invest their future with her. Hopefully that happens if they're looking for long-term relationship. But too many guys have found a good Filipina. They think they're king of the world. They cheat on her. They take
Yeah,
advantage of her, and they lose a very good woman.
yeah,
That's the sad
just,
reality.
yeah. They just take it for granted. But
Yeah,
anyway, if they don't have a skills like you that to determine who's dishonest or honest, all they need to do is just like observe. If already notice a red flag, they shouldn't take it for granted. If the
right.
girl, if the girl make a lot of reasons and like try to ask a lot of money, so if they, well, they do not need to leave immediately. All they need to do is just you know um don't take the red flag as take it for granted, just observe. And if you think that you are right, she's not into with you, she's just coming with you, leave immediately.
Walk
Even
away.
yeah, even you love her, you cannot change it. You cannot change it, even how much, even you're gonna give the world to her. If she's not into with you, it's gonna be useless. It's better that
Yep.
she's gonna leave, move on, and find the right one, because not
Yeah,
all the
and that
people can have skills like you, just observe. So I guess what we can do is just tell them, if there's a red flag, don't take it, you know don't take it for granted, be
yeah,
observant.
it comes. That's why I say it comes back down to self-control. Can you walk away from somebody that you want to be with, but it's full of red flags? Do you have that self-control? And then the second thing, patience, because anybody can be on their best behavior the first 2 weeks. But
Yes,
if you spend time with them for 2 months, I guarantee you, it's what I call consistency of character. They're either consistently trustworthy or they're consistently full of red flags. You know, why is she talking in the bathroom for half an hour on the phone? Who's she talking to? You know, who's investigating? you know,
yeah,
um, and I've had to, because when you first meet someone, they're a stranger. It takes time to get to know them. I dated
yeah,
one. It took me about 5 weeks to figure out she was an alcoholic. Not someone who drank once in a while, an alcoholic. At the end of every day, she was getting drunk. It took me a while because I only saw her 3 days out of the week. There was another one, and some might be familiar with her. Beautiful, beautiful Filipina, very affectionate, joyful, all these things. But um, it was the hardest thing. I had to break up with her. And because consistently she kept proving to me she could not be trusted. She lied to me 3 times. And as much as I wanted to work it out with her, as much as I wanted to be with her, I'd already reached that point where I'd fallen in love. I had to look at it and go, how can you love someone you can't trust? Somebody who lied to you 3 times to your face. So I had to walk away, and it was painful. So unless you have self-control and patience, you're going to get eaten alive. But if you have self-control and patience, you can survive until you find the right one. And then appreciate her. Appreciate her and commit to her, you know.
so yeah. Hey, you know what, it's nice talking to you. I learned something to you. If the guys were gonna watch the whole videos, for sure they can learn something, just how to get the girls, what the right approach. Because I've been asking a lot of questions, how to approach a Filipino, what's the right to approach, but you know what, you give the good one. So
Mhm.
guys must be watch the whole one-on-one interview with you, so that they can learn
Mhm.
something and they know what to do when they came here in Philippines and approach a girl. So
Yeah.
Hoy, thank you so much for being here, Reiki. As much as I want
Yeah.
to talk to you for a long time, I know you still have something to do. And yeah, Hoy, thank you for being here again. You're a big blogger, and you allow me to interview with. when I am small. So again, thank you so
Yeah,
much, Ricky. It's
well,
really
everything
nice.
starts small beginnings. Yeah, I
So I
started with one video.
guess so I just want to say thank you to you and say hi to V to me. And yeah, bye bye for now. Bye bye
Okay,
and
bye
thank you
bye.
again.